Hey everyone, Richard here with this week's reading of Shard of the Sun. Apologies for not posting a video last week. It obviously was Thanksgiving here in the US, and I did intend to record a video, but had family in for the holiday and stuff like that, so it just didn't happen. So apologies, because I know a lot of you, well, some of you follow those weekly readings and listen in. So apologies, but we are back this week. So here we go. We'll just jump into it. Chapter 5. Broderick spent the trip back to his cousin's estate in silent contemplation. Derek was going on about riches and popularity. Was that really what he wanted? Broderick didn't know what he wanted. He thought of the people that lived in the slums, homeless, destitute, starving, and no one cared for them. What if he could use the power of the shard for good? The words of the necromancer echoed in his head. It will drive you mad in the end. Broderick was no sorcerer. Neither were his parents, nor anyone else in his family that he knew of. He shrugged that thought away and realized they were almost Derek's property. The crowd of people still had not dispersed, but seemed to be growing. I left orders with my guards to sneak us through a different way. I had a feeling this would happen. He nodded toward the people at his gates. Broderick didn't answer. He followed his cousin's lead, sliding through a space in the fence that was concealed by some shrubbery. These people are looking for something, Broderick said absently. Derek smiled. A hero, he answered. Broderick shook his head. No, more than a hero. They're looking for a savior, a miracle worker. The two exchanged looks. That's what the church is for, Derek remarked. Raven is the one who sacrificed his life to save the world from the demon horde. I know, Broderick said. Yet the priests do not help the needy. They do not feed the hungry. They build up wealth, and for what? Their own greed? Broderick snorted derisively. The power of their message is drowned out by their actions. These people need help, and if no one will do it, I will. Derek stopped walking and turned to his cousin. You are a good man. I know your parents raised you to be that way, but you are thinking too small. You should aspire higher, Broderick. You could rule the land with that power. Why waste it helping people who don't help themselves? Perhaps they can't help themselves, Broderick answered. I have made my decision. I'm going to help them. I don't want to endanger you and your family, though. Derek laughed. Endanger my family? How so? You heard what the necromancer said. I'm a target for people who know what I have. Derek shook his head. She's just trying to scare you. She wants that rock. I could see it in her eyes. I have plenty of guards to keep us safe, he assured his cousin. You are staying with me. They made their way to the villa in silence, not wanting to wake Claire or Octavia. The door was slightly ajar, but Derek wasn't concerned. They stepped into the atrium and found it a wreck. The flowers had been trampled and things had been knocked over. What the hell happened here? Derek demanded angrily. Octavia! Claire! There was no answer from either. Broderick's heart jumped down into his stomach. He had a sick feeling that whatever happened was because of him. Derek went to find his wife, and Broderick went to look for Claire. He found her hiding in his room. What happened? He asked. Derek came into the room in a panic. I can't find Octavia. Claire! He swept her up in his arms and clutched her tight. Where is your mother? He asked. They took her, she answered. Derek set her down and kneeled down to look her in the face. Who took her? Strange men. They wore all black and tried to catch us both. I ran and hid in here, but they took Mommy. She was screaming and tried to fight them. I was scared, Daddy. Tears filled her eyes. Derek hugged her again. We will find her, don't you worry. He had one of the servants stay with Claire while he questioned the captain of his guards. Broderick looked through the wreckage of the atrium for any clue as to who took Octavia and where she might be. She must have put up quite a fight, he muttered to himself. The tables and benches where they normally ate their meals were all knocked over. Freshly picked fruits littered the floor. A bottle of honeysuckle had shattered, and broken glass was everywhere. A servant came scurrying into the atrium and began to clean up the mess. You didn't hear anything? Broderick asked the young girl. She looked at him and shook her head. Broderick grunted in disbelief. How did no one see or hear anything? Derek strode into the atrium from outside. The guards didn't see anything. The captain said there was nothing out of the ordinary. This doesn't make any sense. Where's my wife? Broderick sighed. There had to be some clue. My lord, the servant girl said. She lifted a piece of parchment up. It was soaked with honeysuckle, but the ink had not run. Derek hastily grabbed the letter and read it. What does it say? Broderick asked. Derek handed it to him. Broderick read it twice. How far is Ravendale from here? He asked. A week's ride south, his cousin answered. Who would have taken her, and why would they take her there? I don't know the answer to that, but I will find her and bring her back. I'm coming with you, Derek said. Broderick shook his head. You can't. What about your daughter? What if those men come back? And who would run your farm? Derek waved all that away. None of that matters. My wife has been kidnapped. You think I'm going to stay here and twiddle my thumbs? No, I think you're going to stay here and protect your daughter and continue overseeing your business. I will go alone and bring her back safely. I promise. It's a horrible plan, a voice from the door said. They both turned to see the necromancer standing there. The captain of the guards stood beside her. She requested to see you. I would have turned her away, but she said it was important. Derek nodded and dismissed him. What are you doing here? He demanded of the necromancer. She smiled at him. Word travels quickly in my circles. Your wife is missing? Derek didn't answer. Yes, it was Broderick who spoke. She was kidnapped, and whoever took her left this note. It says they want the shard and to bring it to Ravendale. I'm going to get her and bring her back. You're either extremely brave or a complete fool. Personally, I think it's a little of both, she said tersely. Broderick took the insult in stride. What makes you say that? He asked. You don't know, do you? Ravendale is a holy city, protected by warrior priests and a shield of magic that keeps out anyone the priests don't want coming in. And you think you can go alone? She laughed. I can spare some of my guards, Derek said. Broderick was shaking his head before his cousin finished the sentence. No, it will be easier to go undetected without them. You don't seem to understand the gravity of this situation, the necromancer interrupted. You cannot just walk into the city. And if they let you in, how are you going to bring his wife back? You are really going to give up that rock? Broderick thought about it. Then what? He asked. I'm coming with you, she retorted, as if that answered everything. Derek raised his hands up. Wait, you aren't going anywhere with him. The necromancer eyed him dangerously. It would be bad for you if word got out about the work you used to do, she said. Some of the things that happened by your hand. She let that sink in. He wouldn't want his reputation damaged. Derek sighed in defeat. Cousin, she has to go with you. Broderick shrugged. We leave at daylight, she informed him. That's in an hour, Broderick protested. She smirked at him, her white eyes like two moons shining from her head. I know. All right. That's it for Chapter 5. So we'll be back on track every Friday as normal since there's no holidays coming up. So look forward to Chapter 6 next week. Thanks for listening, and I hope you guys are enjoying the story.